What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another YouTube video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the Notre Dame Fighting Irish and how I can see them moving forward and, seeing if they're in a slump or like if this may be a continuous problem under Marcus Freeman. So as you know, Notre Dame played Ohio State week 1. And it was a game. It really was. It ended up 21-10, but Notre Dame was winning the game through a lot of portions of this game. They're playing physical, tough football. Offense was not very good. Still, though, they were in this game. Then they went to they played at Notre Dame, but faced Marshall, and they ended up losing this game. And it was one of the most shocking ones because it's like, dang, you're Notre Dame football, you're not... Even at your lowest peak of Notre Dame, you should not be losing to a team like Marshall. And they did, and, kind of looking at it, just a terrible loss for the program and even for Marcus Freeman because at this point, they are 0-2, and he hasn't even won a game yet as a head coach at Notre Dame. So now we head into week 3. They play Cal, and people are very skeptical about this game, about Notre Dame, and what they can do potentially. And Notre Dame comes in, and Cal gives them a fight, man. Cal gives them a good fight. They looked better in this game than they have all year, except for that Ohio State game. But I don't know if that's Notre Dame playing good or if that was Ohio State not playing very good. But Drew Pine, he did his best. I don't think he's the most talented quarterback, so he came in there. They did a job defensively. They got a few things going. They beat Cal, but I'm very concerned about this football team this year. I don't know if it's just me or everyone else, but man, this team may struggle to make a bowl game. Let's look at the rest of their future schedule. They have North Carolina, who is 3-0, who have a very talented quarterback. I don't see them beating North Carolina because how are you going to keep up with that offensive explosion for North Carolina? I mean, they have some guys on that team. I don't see how they are able to keep up. They do have a bad defense, North Carolina, but Notre Dame's offense, I don't think it matters. I think North Carolina is a very bad matchup for Notre Dame. And, we'll see. I mean, North Carolina has to face a defense probably like Notre Dame. But, we'll have to see about that game going forward. The next game they have on the schedule after North Carolina is BYU. I know BYU looked questionable versus Oregon, but they did beat Baylor the week before. I think Oregon's a little bit better team now than, a few weeks ago. But man, oh man, and BYU comes into the Irish and beat them. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, but yeah, I mean, they could literally start the season 1-4. So now you're at 1-4. Notre Dame's 1-4 if they lose to those two teams, which I think is quite possible. So then they have Stanford. Stanford, probably average at best, at least from what I've seen this season. Right now they're 1-1. They go in there. I think Stanford can get the dub. I also think Notre Dame can win this game, so I'll give Notre Dame to win. They're 2-4, right? And then they play UNLV. I'll say they'll win that. 3-4 right now. Syracuse, I say they won that one. They're 3-1 or they're 4-4, whatever. And they go in Clemson. They're losing that game. I'm sorry. I know Clemson has looked very good, and I think they have some problems on offense though. But they looked pretty good. They look like the ACC guys for me. They do have a test this week versus Wake Forest, so we'll have to see how they do them. But man, yeah, I think Notre Dame stands no chance versus Clemson, especially with that offense. Unless they get better during this time, maybe they will. Navy, I think they could beat Navy, so I'll give them a win. They're like, 5-5 right now. Boston College, I'll give it to them, 6-5. And then they finish the season, I think, 6-6, because I think they lose to USC, who I'm not completely bought on, but I don't think Notre Dame, no way they can keep up with USC's firepower on offense. But yeah, so they could finish the season literally 6-6, man. 6-6. That's Notre Dame football that I think they could finish the rest of their schedule with. I don't think that's. I would have to check. That's maybe bare minimum bowl. getting in. But I'm pretty sure you have to be like 7-5 to get in the bowl. So there's a chance that Notre Dame football does not make a bowl game this year. And that is my worry. I'm like, what happens if this team doesn't make a bowl game? How will it hurt them? Okay, so Notre Dame has the number 4 class in this recruiting cycle in 2023. So they had the number 4, they had the number 4th overall, the 4th composite. This is all according to 24/7. So they have Peyton Bowen, who's a safety, who's a 5-star, who has been rumored to flip to Oklahoma. So we have to keep that in mind. But keeping the rest of the recruiting cycle, other teams are going to be calling these recruits and saying, man, listen, Notre Dame didn't make a bowl game. I think y'all should come over here. And, don't commit to Notre Dame. Come with us. Come over here. Give guys a call, a little NIL money. I think that's pretty possible in this situation, man. Notre Dame's recruiting, they're really good. I like the recruiting class a lot right now. But there's a lot of decommitments that could potentially happen. And I think that is a scary sight for them. And, yeah, they have some guys, but, man, if they lose some of these guys, they have 4 top 100 players. That's really good. It is concerning that they're losing this much games and not as good, because teams like, if Alabama comes in on these kids' living room, Oklahoma, Georgia, Ohio State comes in these kids' living room and tells them, hey, we get this, you can get this amount of money, right? You can, play for a national championship caliber team, a playoff caliber team, a conference championship caliber team. That team did not do well. You want to commit to a team that didn't make a bowl game? That's what I'm worried about, because these college coaches, Nick Saban, Kirby Smart, Ryan Day, these guys are going to use that as a tool to lure these guys away. So that is concerning. For Notre Dame football, I'm very concerned about them potentially losing a lot of their recruiting class. But, I think Marcus Freeman's ability to recruit is pretty good. I like his ability to recruit. But it's a lot more than recruiting to build a football team. You have to have a culture. You have to develop the talent at your school. I think Notre Dame is maybe a year or two away from really being back at that ability, unless they go out and get guys in the transfer portal, find guys like a QB or anything like that next year. It could be a pretty solid team next year, but yeah, I'm legit worried about Notre Dame football in this recruiting class. Now, I think if it does fall apart a little bit, I don't think it's the worst thing in the world, because even if you lose 5 of these commits, I still think I've had to do you have to go on the 24/7 calculator and all that stuff. But I'm pretty sure that it'll still be top 20. I would assume so. So yeah, I'm very concerned about Notre Dame football in the future, because I think it's a legit case that they could finish 6-6. And I think that's at best. I think they could lose to a Syracuse, let's look at it. They can lose to a Syracuse. They can lose to a Stanford. They can lose to, Boston College potentially. You take one of those losers, you're like 5-7 or something. That is concerning. Now, this doesn't mean to panic about. I think it's time to panic about the season if you're Notre Dame, about this season. But I don't think you should panic about Marcus Freeman, because a lot of people had some questionable stuff that went into the season for Notre Dame, because a lot of people didn't think they were going to be this good. I really think the AP hurt them a lot, man, because they ranked them number 5, and yeah, I just don't think Notre Dame was the number 5 caliber team in the country. I really think they did that just to set up that week 1 matchup versus Ohio State as a high-ranked matchup. But yeah, it is concerning for Notre Dame football. But they are a blue blood type program. They'll be fine. Moving forward. It's just, this season has not gone to plan. For first-time head coaches, you probably would assume around the country, at least a lot of people like Venables, like Riley, like all of these guys have had good first years this far. Now there's a lot of football left to be played, but we'll have to see about some of these teams, especially Notre Dame. I'm very curious to watch this team moving forward. But that'll be it for me. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.